Defense, Rebel Action. I'm your host, Superfed TV. Joining me today, a little late, but he's here. It's Rumblebee. And I predicted a 50% chance of Rumblebee in the forecast this morning. So your naysayers were out in strong force. Everybody did not believe you would make it.
Yeah, everybody hates on the B, except for the Rookie League. All the rookie leagues in the minor channel are changing their names to be appropriate things.
You're kind of a big deal.
Makes me happy.
Among players that don't know Blood Bowl or you? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
I just realized I did not announce the stream, so I'm going to have to type while talking here. We got Rebel streams, and we got REL recaps.
Well, we don't have our normal one
it's
viewer.
True. Well, they like to get in their, 2 cents and tell me I'm wrong. Well, they actually know what they're talking about when they say that, whereas you just assume that I'm wrong without actually knowing what you're talking about. A slight difference there. But I do have something interactive planned later on in the stream as well, so I'm curious if anyone wants to play along with that. Let me go ahead and do that. Div 1, 2, 3 recap right now. And I hope those tags work. Yeah, they work. Cool. I even spelled my name right. All right, let's go ahead and jump into Division 3. And no, I don't have an intro yet because my lazy season. Okay. Division 3. Games happened. And stuff and things. Let's go ahead and look at the stuff and things and games. Grungy Desserts with the 1-0 win over the Farm Animals. And I think a lot of people were surprised by this one. Stouticus did not start off strong. He did suffer 2 deaths, but I don't think they were super important. I should probably have my level 2 league manager up as well, just to verify what exactly happened in so many of these games. But a big 1-0 win over Chabsu, who himself started on quite a tear and was looking for one of the playoff spots here, but this one is definitely a setback, and this is really tightening the race. It's actually expanding it a little bit too, and the number of teams that are in the playoff hunt. Did you catch any of the REL 3 games as I'm going through here? All right.
No.
That was worth a shot. But that's put Stouticus in first place at 13 points now. So he is tied Rusty Seabutter. Not that we're going into the leaderboard just yet. We'll get there. But I do want to look really quick and see what died. Just to be sure. I'm pretty sure it was Rotters. But, yep, 2 Rotters. Okay. That answers that. Common Consulting versus Scooby and the Gang. Darkinon Drew. Although we got a nice MVP there on that Strength Up Frenzy Blitzraw, but a 1-1 draw. Lot of removals. Look at that, 13 removals for the Camry. But Scooby and the gang were in fact able to pull out the draw. My guess is this one was on the back of their, powerful wolves. Always make Rumble a little jealous. Let's see how that new wolf is coming along here with the Travel Scrabbles team. The Agi 5 werewolf, yes, he did in fact do some stuff. Good job. Good job with that. Still no block, but Agi 5, so that's all you really need. And the Rebellious Scions took on Murder's Row. They were more Scallions than Scions this week. They got their 1-2 loss handed to them. The Murder's Row doing quite a number on the damage. The armor was not the strongest here. 4 injuries, 2 KOs on 42 blocks. That's the Claw Mighty Blow Wolf putting in some work. But the Witch, still is in decent enough health. Niggled but surviving on Agi 5. Moving on. We've got Mutants in Human Clothing versus not FDA approved. And this one was a bit of a surprise. I did not see Spoony Bard losing this one. Or did I? I forget. I think you were backing Spoony Bard, and I think I was backing Super Dragon 3000, now that I think about it. You recall? Are you there?
I'm here. My thing is blowing up
Oh.
right now.
Well, you should probably get that looked at by a medical professional.
I am a medical professional.
You should probably get a second opinion. You backed Spoony Bard, if I recall, right?
Yeah, that sounds like me.
You were wrong. Spoony Bard lost in a big fashion to the High Elves. Even though he got a crazy amount of armor breaks and removals on 35 blocks, he inflicted a kill, 3 injuries, 3 deaths, or 3 KOs. And Super Dragon, though, got a kill, 3 injuries, and no KO. So he put in a show as well. More importantly, though, not FDA approved is really, really riding on the back of their legendary catcher one more night. So I think Super Dragon just soaks up all the attention. Pantheon Passers got the 3-2 win over Cheese Tactics Mark II. Cheese's path towards the three-peat is well underway, and T-Self happy to oblige in this big shootout. You don't expect to see a 5-score game with orcs, but, you know, it happens sometimes. I like the fact that there's 1 expulsion on each side as well. Really getting the point home to Cheese that if you pile on, you will get fouled, even against Pro Elves. And they got the win for it, so they weren't punished for having that extra elf sent off. Good times. Good times. Let's see. Who else played? We had Fell with Coated All versus The Secret of My Success. This is a 1-1 draw. I would say that Rusty shook off his elf jitters, his yips, if you will. However, and this is where I think it's official that we have cursed a team in REL 3. Fell with Coated All snaked on turn 8 to score a touchdown, and they snaked on turn 16 to score a touchdown. So this would have been a 3-1 result. And then I could say that Rusty got elfed as he does, but I think whatever bad juju is on Not for Science is stronger than Rusty's inability to play against elves. So best of luck with the yips, Rusty.
Yeah, he also had 4 injuries compared to Rusty's 3.
He got out. Oh,
so
yeah.
he even got outbashed by the
Rusty
elves.
definitely got outbashed. But it's more than just the fact that the snakes saved the day. I can tell you, there are so many times in games where I just think to myself, well, I lose this game unless he snakes. And whenever I say that, they never snake. But I guess Rusty's rabbit foot is a little bit stronger than mine. Oh, yeah. 1-die pows happen. 1-die pows happen.
Yeah,
Yep.
1 in 6 times.
Certainly more likely than 1 in 36. So, yeah. It's a thing. Finally, Please Don't Murder Me. Did not get murdered. Lebowski Urban Achievers unable to murder. And the first big win out of Luke for the season. This match came down to the wire, too. It almost didn't get played, but I'm glad it did. And look at that. Luke Sama's blocks, over 30 blocks. He's heeding the advice that we are spewing. Keeping up those blocks, keeping up the attrition, and able to get a big result and a lot of development. I think there was 3 or 4 levels for these High Elves, and considering the fact that they've just been battered and destroyed and losing players left and right all season long, that this was a much-needed recharge for the team. So we'll see if he can't turn around his season, and certainly give up his spot to Cheese at the bottom. So let's take a look at Cheese at the bottom and see where everything's at. Sherdog at 0-1-5 is keeping the spot warm for Cheese. Please Don't Murder Me at 1-1-4 might be passing him this week. We'll see. Cheese himself sitting at 12th place, 1-2-3, tied with Fell with Coated Doll, who can't avoid snaking with the ball. He's dodging the mighty blow though, at least, so there's that. Sorta. Rebellious Scions at 2-1-3. Scooby and the Gang, 2-2-2, along with Darkanon, right in the middle of the pack there. And we've got ATL with 2-3-1 record. Murderers Row, 3-1-2. Tied with him is Chabsu at 3-1-2. Competing for definitely a playoff spot. We've got Pantheon Passers, Mutant Human Clothing at 4-0-2. And tied for first place, Rusty Seabutter and Grungy Desserts. We've still got more Elf games for Rusty. Future is uncertain. Stouticus, though, I think he's coming up on what could be an easier time of the season for him. So he might be the one to beat at this point. We'll have to take a look. Thank you so much for the host there, Stickbins. This is really not that surprising, though. I think, and really at this point, we're at halfway point. 4 losses, I think, is going to be the magic number where you are eliminated from the playoffs, depending on how many ties you have. So I'd still say even technically, Cheese is in the punt for playoffs right now if he were to go on a hot streak. But I'd say this is probably not the first season that Cheese gets to the playoffs. I'm a betting man. I would probably realistically draw the line at ATL, where he's at 9 points so far for the season. So, but we shall see. Anything can happen. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next week's match. Well, let's take a look at team first. Who do you want to look at this time?
Let's see.
Have we looked at Stouticus? No, and he's in
I don't
first
think
place.
so.
Let's look at Stouticus.
Okay. I was gonna say let's look at the Khemri team, but we're probably gonna have to talk about a Khemri team in Div 1. So
anyway, we'll get there. Yeah, Stouticus, the Nergal Gurgel. They are rocking a Beast of a Nergal with just block and stand firm, pretty standard stuff. A couple block guard Nergal warriors. They've got a fresh Nergal warrior who is a replacement for somebody that died very early in the season. They've got 2 tackle pieces that they got just in time for the elves, which made I'm sure no one happy about that on the warriors. And then they've got the wrestle, tackle, strip ball, 2 heads, perfect ball sacker safety. I think this is arguably the piece that wins him the most games. And as well, a perfect Agi 4 Blod, sure hands ball carrier. No Palmer. So if the attrition dice don't come, that would make things a little bit difficult for this team. But otherwise, I mean, they're just a great defensive team. It's going to be hard for people to really unseat them, and that's why they're in first place. Anything to contribute on this team? Do you like the Frenzy? Of course you like the Frenzy. You're a werewolf.
I do like that. I like that Frenzy piece, yeah. And it's not just werewolves that I enjoy Frenzy for. I really like having 2 Troll Slayers on my Dwarf team. Which I finally have, by the way. Not that you asked.
Yeah, that's true. We didn't talk about our games. We can talk about our games after Div 3. Yeah, that's Stouticus' team. I guess I should say where I expect it to go from there. We can talk future thoughts. Nergal Warrior development. Focus on that. If you can, hand them the ball, score. But you're playing for a playoff spot, so you don't have to. But going into the playoffs with a naked Nergal Warrior is not ideal. Not that you can't win, but it's just not ideal. I don't see you replacing the killer Pestigore, even though it's Agi 2. I think you just ride him till he dies. Going Palm next, and then maybe Juggernaut? Oh, you need tackle, actually. Palm and then tackle would be my suggestion, since you've got other tackle players. Personally.
Yeah. Agi 2 is not that big a deal for a killer.
But man, Cleo Valentine did so many dodges that were the life and death difference in my playoff games. So I can, and in the playoff game that I most recently lost, Cleo was not doing so well in the dodges. I'm just saying. She didn't 1 and 9.
Well,
she didn't 1 and 9 the dodges. I would have been much better off.
Oh, that's still a 75% chance with a reroll.
You won't do that though. But anyway, not when you've got the wrestle tackle 2 heads one. You're going to use them instead. So, that's about it. Nergal aren't exactly a mysterious and wild team to level up. Don't have a whole lot of things. I guess the biggest discussion point would be, what do you give the ball carrier that already has Blodge, Agi4, and Sure Hands? My piece of advice would be tackle. I love it when my ball carrier with Blodge has tackle. But I know not everybody sees that.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. Or you could just go straight into more ball carrier stuff. Because he has access to mutations.
He could get big hand
on doubles.
He doesn't need doubles.
Yeah,
It's just a
he
straight
get big hand.
Just a straight roll. Yeah.
Oh, really?
He could get 2 heads to be a dodging thing too.
Doubles.
Yeah, that could be a reliable thing. Actually, guard is also another possibility. You can't have enough guard ever on Nergal, and it's a blodge piece, so it's as long as you're basing it up against something that doesn't have tackle, it's a pretty safe thing. Plus, with your ball carrier, when it's in a cage and it has guard, it's actually extremely valuable for clearing off a team that kind of blitzes into your cage. So if you're playing against orcs or dwarves, that's their only strategy on defense, is to just blitz a cage corner and kind of pile in there. So if your ball carrier has dodge or has guard, then it makes it a lot easier for you to clear that off. But all right, okay.
I just realized he's rocking one
that
rotter
he got from the High Elves. You recognize that name as a level 6 High Elf thrower from Hipster's team that was then on Not for Science's team. Ugh, I'm sure some jimmies were rustled there. All right, let's go ahead and take a look over at the upcoming matches for this week so we can make predictions that we will forget about by next week and carry on as we do in our super serious and professional recaps. Grungy Desserts versus Please Don't Murder Me. Stouticus gets another high elf for dinner, and this one's squishier than the last. I hope Luke Sama wins. Thoughts and prayers.
It's gonna be Stouticus.
But yeah.
It's gonna be Stouticus. He can't pass around him, and
Luke
he's got
Sama
enough
can
tackle.
pass.
Right,
he's got the Agi 6.
He's got all that Agi 6.
If anyone can stop Stouticus's Nergal defense, it's Agi 6, Agi 5 accurate, and Agi 5 strength 4 frenzy. This, by the way, frenzy being the recent choice on this team, he just leveled this up. I personally would have taken tackle or leap, but he went frenzy instead. So maybe he does some surf plays.
Why?
Well, I mean, Agi 5 with dodge, he could run through the cage instead of leaping, and then, or not cage, the screen. Run through the screen and then surf somebody by surprise. And that's kind of the way Luke plays. I don't know if you've seen any of his stuff, but with his Agi 6 piece,
I've played him.
You can
like a couple of times.
You can line up a screen of like 3 players, and he'll just literally run through it. So I'm assuming that's why he didn't get leap. He doesn't believe in it, even though he's got a leap strip ball piece.
I don't understand. Like, if he was trying to make that guy a sacker, why frenzy?
I think it's not trying to make him a sacker. I think he's trying to make him a surf threat. Because it's strength 4, so he can do it on his own. He doesn't need any assists. Yeah. Anyway, we'll see what he does.
And I guess he has sidestep, so it is relatively safe.
It's not the worst. It's just not what I would have done. Lebowski Urban Achievers versus Fell with Coated Doll. Sure Dog still in his rebuilding. He just got beat by Luke Sama. I think Fell with Coated Doll is still a better team than Luke Sama, so I'm going to have to give it to Fell with Coated Doll.
Nah, Sure Dogs do.
This would get him to pass cheese. So, you know. The Secret of My Success versus the Pantheon Passers. Rusty versus T-Self. T-Self's been on a tear lately. Rusty's been on the slide. He's got the yeps with the elves. I think this team's a little bit more traditional elf than the last team that he played that outbashed him. I think Rusty's pride and ego is probably looking for some stomps, but who knows, man? Who knows?
You know what? I'm gonna give it to
You
Rusty.
think he's due?
This is the week that he gets
Because
over
the,
his
the
yips.
loners. There's just too many loners on this Pantheon Passer team. Maybe. I tell you what, if Rusty
Maybe.
just drops the base, right? He goes full hyper control. No half measures. That's what Rusty needs to put like right above his monitor. Just a big like inspirational message with a cat hanging on by his claws saying no half measures. And then like whatever his name is, Breaking Bad right below it. No half measures.
Right.
That would be the way that Rusty gets past his yips.
What's
Your
wrong
thrower
with
needs
your
to
thrower,
go.
Rusty?
It needs to die. It's double niggled and AV busted.
Yes. You already field an AV8 piece on an AV9 team, which
now
makes
he's
him a target,
AV7.
and he's double.
and-
Now he's AV7, and he's double niggled. You should have fired him 3 injuries ago.
You can't get a strength 4 orc thrower if you're just hanging on to this skeleton of an Agi 4 thrower. It was strong arm. It's not even Agi 4. That's right. Strong arm. You realize that the odds of getting another better orc thrower are so much in your favor versus having this one stay on the pitch.
Yeah, it's a 1 in 6. It's a 1 in 6 chance, man.
Not even gonna go there.
Come on.
Cheese Tactics Mark II versus Mutants in Human Clothing. I look forward to seeing Cheese play a Claw Palm team. It makes me excited. I look forward to this match very much.
Not only is it a claw palm team, but it's a claw palm team with a coach who knows
And
what
loves
he's
to
doing.
foul. And I'm pretty sure these two teams have played, or well, not these two teams. I'm pretty sure these two coaches have played together in REL 2 or 3 before.
Well, Cheese's first season, him, myself,
Yes.
and Spoonie
Yes.
were all
There we
in
go.
Division 3. Then we all got promoted Division 2. And then Spoonie
Yes.
retired his
Yes, I
Nergal.
can't wait.
So we've all played
So
a
I'm sure
million
Cheese
times.
thinks. Well, I'm sure Cheese is well aware of what he's up against. I won't put words in his mouth. Not FDA approved versus Rebellious Scions. The Scions have done really well against other elves, not so well against other teams. Super Dragon 3000 though, they just put up a big win. Feel like they could do it again. This is kind of a coin toss, though. I don't know. What do you think?
It's hard to bet against Super Dragon and One More Night.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Scions. Just because they've done so well against other elf teams.
All right, I'm gonna give the love to
All right.
ATL.
Murders Row versus Common Consulting. Darken on, middle of the road. Uncertain at this point how his season's going to end. And god damn it, my dog found his toy. This is the disadvantage to a live cast. Because I can't just stop the video and fix it. Anyway.
That dog's just living his best life, man.
No,
Why you
he's
gotta
more or
take
less
his
annoyed
toy
because
from
I'm
him?
talking to the screen. He just loves it. Anyway, I don't know, man. Darkenon's team is
I'm giving
pretty
it
solid.
to the
It is a
Camry.
solid team.
I mean, yeah, there's some claw, but Darkenon's got a bunch of strengths.
I'll say
to
from what I've
Dragons.
seen of the Khemri and Necro matches, 2 teams that I have honestly, truly never played before. I think I maybe have 1 Necro game in my experience and 0 Khemri games in my experience.
Mhm.
The ones I've seen did not go well for Necro. And that covers, playoffs and REL 1 and all these other matches. I cannot point to a single Necro versus Khemri match where the Necro made a statement and did claw things. Because it's just the Necro playstyle is claw things and foul things, and claw things and foul things, and then run fast. And like, up against a regen team that outstrengths you, I don't think that works. At least not reliably.
And it's super easy. It's super easy for them to outguard the.
Well, just outstrength and outguard combined, yeah. Because there's only usually 4 at most guard pieces on the Necro team, unless you get really lucky.
Yeah, and that's if you take guard on both your whites, which a lot of people don't do at first, because you need to have that easy, quick block mighty blow tackle.
You usually see guard on a ghoul, but then the ghoul gets killed quickly. So, yeah, I agree. I think Darkanon got this.
My guard ghoul live. Yeah.
Scooby and the gang versus the farm animals. I expect Chapsu to bounce back. I think Travel Scrabble has a good team in the making, but that's usually when they win. It's tough to predict that. How do you predict what an Agi 5 wolf with no other skills is going to do? They're either going to carry the game or they're going to fail miserably. I'm just going to trust that Chapsu's removal dice are overdue.
Yeah, I think that Agi 5 wolf is going to have a world of hurt in store for him. He's going to like dodge in, grab the ball, and then be stuck, and then he's just gonna take a
See, I usually would expect a player like that to fail on the easy stuff. So yeah, he'll run in and he'll grab the ball, and then he'll make a GFI to get out, and he'll trip and drop the ball, and it'll scatter right into like a zombie's hands. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how I expect an Agi 5 player to play out. All right, well, that is it for Div 2. So you want to tell me about your dwarves? I know everybody's dying to know how your week's gone, Rumblebee.
I won. It was a lot of fun. I'm now 4-0-2, but I'm never gonna catch the Amazons in my division. I'm pretty sure they're taking a bye win
Amazons
this week to make them. Yeah, it suits Amazons. So he's gonna be 6-0-0.
Oh.
Yeah. And I had like 12% armor breaks on 60 blocks. I was so mad. I was so mad.
Sounds like fun. Sounds like a very fun and interactive match between dwarves and Amazons.
Yeah. But I was talking to the guy that's running the Champions League thing.
Right?
And apparently I lead.
Yeah.
Oh, are you?
Representing Nats.
What's his name?
It's Sir M something.
Oh no, I was talking to Thomas T. The Challenger Cup, not the Champions League. I'm sorry. So apparently I lead all of REBBL for Surf.
I think that says more about your opponents than it does about you.
Through 6 weeks.
Good for you. You're the Andy Davo trainee.
Whatever. If I can't break their armor, I'm just going to shove them off the pitch. Just have to.
Speaking of games last week, my game last week, which I can remember because I haven't played this week yet, so this is one of the few weeks where I can talk about it. Iron Master was in the chat, and he specifically was like, "Is this the game where Superfed decides that he's gonna love Kislev and play them next season?" And that's really not how it works. Like, I definitely don't think that far ahead. I'll evaluate it at the end of the season. But it was the first game where I wasn't completely on the back foot and completely out of control of the fate of the game. Captain Stabbin, as you know, I took Piling On, Mighty Blow Piling On, so that's all he has. It's full all apple pies. He had a game. He diving tackle killed a high elf catcher, and then immediately armor busted, and then niggled 2 other high elves in like the next 2 turns. So he had a game. And then I had the numbers basically the entire match. I got some good scores. I was trying to do a double surf play, and I completely botched it and late in the second half. And then from there, I just gave up on protecting the ball, and it ended up being a draw, a 2-2 draw. And I'm mad at myself for botching the surf play, but I felt so good about the game not being just a complete hell of a dicing that I didn't even mind that I screwed up that bad. And even watching it back, like I'm like, oh yeah, all I had to do was this first, and it would have been fine. But I was like so just distracted by the fact that I actually had decent dice for once this season. I'm like, okay, well that was nice. That was nice. Oh, it was Div 3, not Div 2. You're right. Casabulu. But yeah, that was my game. So it, for those watching, it was not the Salt Fest that they're used to. It was nice. Peaceful. It was a game. It's been a long time since I had a game like that. Now, outside of REBBL, I am streaming my Goblin games, and my god, I just had the best Goblin game. Well, the best 2 Goblin games I think I've ever seen of anyone that's ever played Goblins. And that's saying something. I back-to-back had Wood Elves and Khemri, which are not good matches for Goblins. But the Wood Elf game, everything went my way. A lot of things went my way. I killed a War Dancer. And then the Khemri game, nothing went my way, but it was not the result that I expected. And that's all I'll say about it. Definitely check that one out on my Twitch or YouTube. So yeah, let's go ahead and move on to Div 2 after I've plugged my shit shamelessly. Div 2.
Here's your one.
We had bye week. Eat, Pray, Shove is officially out for the rest of the season, so if you're in Div 2, don't worry about scheduling with them. You will get your bye win just like everybody else, so everything's fair and balanced. And Legland Blue is in desperate need of a bye week. Tooth and Fist got a 1-0 win over Live Tree or Die Hard. This one surprised both of us. I think we both bet on Duberman here. Yeah, Tooth and Fist gets the big win in a 1-0 victory. Very unexpected. Lots of KOs, but not a lot of, permanent injuries. It's not often that you see Duberman only suffer 1 casualty and still lose a game. This seems all kinds of weird. I need to look into this more. Only 23 blocks from the Necro, and they still win. How does that even happen? 100% success on pickups. 100% success on catches. That's fine. I don't know, man. I have no idea where this one went wrong.
What player of Duberman's has Dauntless?
I don't know. It just seems really weird. I guess the dodge dice aren't great. But I genuinely have no idea, looking at the dice log, how this thing went wrong. And he had the ball for 56% of the game. And he still couldn't score as Wood Elves. That seems very weird. I'll maybe check that out after this. Fear and Bloating got a 1-1 draw against Not an Anime Sports Team. I believe Arch took a haircut on this, but no, it doesn't look like it. In fact, he didn't suffer any injuries. So again, an elf team not suffering any injuries doesn't get the win. I do like that there's an expulsion here for Not an Anime Sports Team. Again, elves that foul. That's a great, great thing. We've got Your Lizard Airy taking on Ace Trucking Company and getting the win. The Lizards get the surprising win here. Fortunately, even with 6 removals, good old Ace's Trucking Company not quite able to do it. In fact, they were outblocked quite significantly by Sukari. So good on Sukari there for getting the win. Keeping it together. And a nice MVP on this abomination. Movement 9, Agi 4. Yeah. Yeah. Hope somebody kills that sometime soon.
That's a skink worth apple rights.
Gerber, but yeah. High Flyers or High Fivers, whatever you want to prefer to call them, versus the Three Mountains and Chaos Abulu's team. 1-1 draw. You can check this one out on Chaos Abulu's channel. A lot of KOs, not a lot of casualties for the Three Mountains. Conversely, the Dwarves were shopping at the Discount Armor Emporium. 19 armor breaks suffered. You can imagine 2 Clawpalm Wolves is kind of the reason for all the damage there. Yeah, Chaos and Blue happy with the draw. I don't blame you.
Ooh, that's almost legend.
Yes, very close to legend is Al Bundy.
Or what is legend level is going
I
to
would
be?
assume tackle if there's any common sense in the guy, but I mean, he takes after you with that Clawpalm, so Clawpalm agi 4.
Yeah, but I had. See, that just
Jump up, pro. Don't know. Should be tackle though. Should be tackle.
It'll be tackle. It'll be tackle. But man, 172 SPP without tackle.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
Dracwall Day Laborers get the win. Finally. Nergal FTDs completely. The jinx is back on. I know he's not feeling great about it. But yeah, this is these two teams have played against each other so many times. It's a fun match. 49 blocks. He got all the, I mean, not a lot. I mean, 7 KOs is a lot, but 2 casualties and 1 kill. This is just, and 18 blocks. Wow. I'm actually surprised humans did as well as they did with the removals, considering that they only took 18 blocks. That's surprising. But yeah, interesting match. Man, Sauce, I just don't know if it's Nergal or if it's just this team, but yeah, it's not the magic. Not the magic. Your magic is in the off season. Lords of Decay versus TeamSpeak Crew version 4. This one, oh, I mean, there's some things to say about it. TeamSpeak Crew version 4 didn't do what they set out to do, which was to completely dismantle the rats. They possessed the ball 81% of the time, and yet they lost 3-1. Basically, the rats, anytime they took the ball, they just, ran it in and scored. And they were able to get to the ball quite easily several times. I'm not sure how the control game really fell apart for TeamSpeak Crew version 4, but I will say that the 3 injuries that they suffered, I believe, were pretty early on, and it was really just trying to claw your way back into it after getting into a bit of a hole. So, gotta try and not let things snowball out of control there. But yeah, Lords of Decay now are officially on a bit of a tear. And it's time for us to start throwing the jinx towards Khalisti Maya. Because we all know that he will not find his way in the playoffs. I think he just wants to cheese his way up into REL 1. Taking 4th place. Speaking of which, he's in 4th place. Tooth and Fist are currently at top, at 1st place with a 4-1-1 record. Necro doing things. Making their presence known again. It's like Necro are kind of an every other season team. The High Elves not named a sports team. The Duke, sitting currently in 2nd place at 3-3-0. Not suffering any losses, unlike every other coach in this division. The Dwarfs, TeamSpeak Crew version 4, Puckstop is back in the picture, despite the fact that he just lost. He's still in 3rd place. Khalisti Maya getting that win, putting themselves tied with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Counting with Superfed, 5 teams currently tied in 4th place with a 3-1-2 record. Along with Khalisti Maya, we have Duberman, Chaos Bulu, Thessa, and Uber the Nuber. I think it's reasonable to say that all those teams are definitely in the playoff hunt. Additionally, I think the Red Joker's Nergal is there, and you could really say that High Lord Salt, if he could, pull it together, could also find himself there. I think Sukari and Moniker at 4 losses are likely out unless they do not draw or lose another game for the rest of the season. Although we are talking about 3 spots, so maybe it's a little bit more like they got 1 more loss in them. And then we've got Ace Trucking Company at 1, 2, and 3. And yeah, Superfed's Eat Pray Shove is in dead last, where I belong. That's it for this one. And we can take a look at a team and then predictions for next week. Who would you like to look at?
We should take a look. We should take a look at that admin team.
Sexy admin team in last place. Unfortunately, they are no longer a part of the league.
Find out where they went wrong.
Oh, they had me as a stand-in coach. That's never a good strat. Let's take a look at I don't know. Take a look at Duberman. We haven't seen his team, I don't think. You were asking about that Dauntless.
Yeah.
He's got a wrestle Dauntless tackle catcher. I actually really like that. He's been hanging out with some smarter people, it sounds like. I don't know when Duberman started going down that path, but that's like a gutter runner right there. He's been playing with Golgothan way too much.
Well, they play like every week. They're like I'm pretty sure they're IRL friends and they play in the same hockey league.
But yeah, no, this is a gutter runner. It gets strip ball next. That's gonna be interesting. He's got 2 Mighty Blow War Dancers now. That's pretty impressive. One of which has jump up and pro. That guy's been leveling quite a bit. John McClane IV. Bruce Willis the Tree has block now. I know that's really excited about that news. I'm a little bit annoyed that Corbin Dallas III, just like Corbin Dallas II, also has Agi up, also has strong arm, and just because he went accurate. So I'm gonna do the math for you boys. Some quick maths. An Agi 5 thrower with accurate throws a 2+ on everything but a long bomb. Technically, strong arm, if it's by the rules of Blood Bowl, should not apply an extra bonus, but because Blood Bowl 2 is not coded that way, it does. So yes, he does long bomb on a 2+ now. That is quite the thrower, but realistically, he should have picked sure hands in order to avoid all this trouble.
It's something with the rules where technically everything gets done at a -2. So getting the bonus from the Agi up and the strong arm lowers it to a no negative, which allows it to be at a 2+.
It's supposed to be. It's supposed
Someone
to be,
was explaining it to me.
It's not done in purple, right? The way that it is on tabletop. I don't know. All I know is it should be sure hands, not accurate. And it shouldn't have been strong arm. It should have been accurate. But enough of that. He also needs safe throw to really be good at his job.
Hey, I need to step away for a second.
We've got Frank Moses with guard and block, which is very useful, and a dirty player lineman as well. I like dirty player elves if you're on the side that's going to be getting inducements. Like if you're a pro elf team that's constantly using loners and you get a level up on a lineman, I like doing dirty player because you're able to make use of a bribe. If you're an overdog elf, like a 2000 TV high elf team, I don't like dirty player as much there. So just my own preferences. But yeah, that's an interesting team. Let's go ahead and move on to matchups for the week. We already got one match played. Little Puck Stop was thinking to himself, well, I get tired of getting cursed every week on the recap, so I'm just going to go ahead and play my game before they recap so they can't curse me. Well, guess what? I'm going to jump ahead and... where is he? 4. Dracwell Day Laborers. Nope. TeamSpeak Crew version 4. Absolutely going to beat Dracwell Day Laborers. There we go. Curse successful. Ace Trucking Company versus Live Tree or Die Hard. A good old Chorf versus Wood Elf matchup. I would like to say that Duberman's going to win this one, but I just don't know anymore. He is random every single week. He's got all the tools he needs to win this match. It's just going to be whether or not Ace Trucking Company gets the attrition early or if they get it late. Three Mountains versus the Gland Blue. I think Thessa is a great coach. I think Chaos of Bulu's team is in position to destroy the Gland Blue. But it's going to be a really kind of tricky chess match. I would actually probably predict Chaos of Bulu to win this one. First of all, they're not rats. And second of all, I think Thessa does like to get a little bit scrappy every now and then for a Wood Elf team. And Three Mountains are not a team you get scrappy against. So my backing there. Nergal FTDs versus Tooth and Fist. I feel bad cursing Sauce so much, so I'm going to actually back Tooth and Fist. Give him a week off from the curse. See if that doesn't change his spirit and results. Lords of Decay versus Your Lizard Airy. Absolutely going to cast or curse Khaleesi Maya into winning this one. I think his team is just super developed to the point now where they've got all the tools in the toolkit. And Sukari's lizards, while they are a little bit more tight, they don't have all the options at their disposal that Lords of Decay does. They're just going to rely on their superior stat line and the fact that they're lizards. And lizards in pretty good health, too. In fact, I haven't looked at their team in a while. What does Sukari have right now? At 1950 TV, I think he's got a lot of tools. Only one tackle piece, though, and that is not going to be sufficient against these rats. All the diving tackle blotch sidestep, though, that is quite an armament of diving tackle blodge steppers. That's like Dark Elf levels of blodge step diving tackle. I don't really know how to address that. That's a lot of blodge. So, I guess, I don't really like this, right? I get this. I get diving tackle and then block. I don't like block and then diving tackle. And I don't know the order of which all these things happened, but I would like to say that this one makes sense even with the jump up. This guy, though, should absolutely be sure feet and then sprint. I don't know. This is weird. These are weird players. This is a weird team now. I don't remember this being so weird. You do have one break tackle blodge, which is nice. You got some guard. Block score's good. You need more tackle. Catch. Yes, catch. I think catch would have been much better on this one. Yeah. I think that's a good call out there, Chaos Apulu. One of these should be a ball handler. I know you have an Agi 4 one. But man, that is a lot of blodge step with diving tackle. More than you need, frankly. But maybe he'll get a lot of use out of it against Khaleesi Maya. We'll see. That'll be an interesting one to watch as a replay after they finish the game. A very long one if you watch it live. Finally, we've got the Dracul Day Laborers versus the High Fivers. And the High Fivers are probably going to destroy this human team. Uber the Noober is pretty much just plowing his way through teams left and right. And Moniker's best results have been in the scrum, like against Sauce. This next team is going to mow through him like a knife through butter. Yeah. Welcome back.
All right, I'm back.
We're just talking about the Dracul Day Laborers versus the High Fivers and how the High Fivers are going to cut through these humans like halflings.
Funny you say that. I had like 30% armor break on the halflings I played.
I think this might even be Mog the Mule's last game. He's at movement 4 and Agi 1. Sure, he's got block and break tackle and guard and stand firm, but I think the poor guy just wants to be put out of his misery. And I think the High Fivers are going to be the one to do it. But we'll see.
Yeah, well, it'll have to happen on the pitch. Moniker's not going to just fire him. He wants him to have a warrior's death and earn his way to Valhalla.
He might get it. Just might get it. Interesting thing that just popped up right there that I just saw. Where did that team go? Did that say 2 rerolls? Did. That's weird. I think he lost his thrower that probably had leader. But that's weird. And you should have a 3rd reroll. Alright, enough of that. Yeah, so that's it for Div 2. Let's go ahead and move on to Division 1. Division 1, Week 6. Necronomics got a 2-2 draw against the Grody Greens. This one was a bit of a messy match. The second half especially. It seemed like every time the Grody Greens would secure the ball, the Necronomics had a ghoul that would just take it right back. And that happened, I think, 3 or 4 different times where the ball got knocked loose and, you know, one way or another, Grody Greens were able to recover and then they scored. But they left 2 turns for the Necronomics to get down the pitch. And sure enough, Horny Cricket's Necro team has gotten really, really good at 2-turn scoring. In fact, Grandpappy Z did, in fact, get the MVP. Yeah, Strength 4 Wrestle Tackle turns out is a very effective way to get the ball loose. And a couple deaths suffered by the Grody Greens. They were, of course, rotter deaths, so nobody really cares. But yeah, good removals on both sides. This was a typical bloody REL 1 match. Booze Cruise lost 0-1 against Animal Farm. Motley's team just wasn't quite up for it against this claw, and it looks like they, in fact, did get a bit clawed. 47 blocks, getting 7 removals. 35 blocks, only 3 KOs for the Booze Cruise. They just quite weren't able to keep up with this Chaos removal team. Gloom and Zoom, zoomed and gloomed. 4-2 win over Rats Off to you. I don't think the Golgothan style of, hey, I'm going to dare my opponent to roll GFIs is really a good counter to Fiction Magic. Because he's going to roll those dice. And he's going to, you know, frenzy trap himself. And it just won't matter. And, yeah, that's what happened here. 6 injuries, 2 casualties, 36 blocks succeeded. Bloom and Zoom, zooming their way. Touchdown, 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 touchdown. In the win. And actually, the white here is really, really close to Legend as well. Catatonio momentum. So, just what Fiction's team needs. More legendary players. New Year Norse versus the Pastry Pests. 1-3 win for Pastry Pest here. Pastry Pest not getting the most SPP this match against a Navy 7 team. They did much better against Soul at pitch clearing. And in fact, I think New Year Norse kind of punched back quite a bit, getting 8 removals. But at the end of the day, it's still Loomy. And in this battle between 2 champions, I think everyone would agree the Pastry Pests are looking really fine and in great shape. And it probably wasn't the most favored matchup for the New Year Norse. Iron Madden played Tribu Urbana and got the 2-1 win. Hipsters, Pro Elves were just not quite able to, I think, steal the ball was probably the biggest problem against Iron Man. Now, Iron Man did control the ball 31% of the time, so I'm sure it got knocked loose at least a couple times. But they really, I mean, they were still not able to stop the score either. Curious how the inducements went. It would seem like Hyper Urbana would have gotten a lot more inducements and been able to capitalize off a wizard, but wouldn't be the first time that he wasn't able to do that. Eat Man Things got the 1-1 draw against Pro in the Party, and this matchup is in fact going to be the special interactive part of the day. So, for those of you that didn't watch this game, it was streamed on Soul's channel, and I encourage you to watch it and check it out. The best part of it was the fact that I was mentioned earlier about how I like lower TV elves to go with a dirty player, and that's exactly what Pro in a Party has. They do have a dirty player, so they went with a bribe in this matchup against Eat Man Things, and it worked out pretty well. You do see 2 expulsions, but more importantly, you see 1 death on the side of Eat Man Things, and that's from a natural 1-turning rat. Yes, that's right. The one that I Agi busted that was Agi 5 and was the best 1-turner in the game is now dead. DED dead. There is much rejoicing to be had. But a pivotal moment in the game occurred later on what I'm going to guess was turn 17. Let's go ahead and head on over to the clip. So we're gonna go full John Madden with this one. I even got a pen. All right. So at the start of the turn here, the Skaven just turned over. They re-rolled a blitz to knock over the Agi 5 elf right over here. And then at the very next block after that blitz was a dub skull. So that's why this rat's, already knocked out here. Soul's turn starts, and he's got to stall for one more turn. You're not going to give the rats 2 turns to score. That's just, might as well give it the draw. So his runner is in this square with the ball, highlighted a little bit here. And the very, very first action that Soul takes is to run this guy over. So how would you guys play this one out? My instinct would be, I want to see what the blitz does first. Leaving this guy here, he's in scoring position. This guy's marked. This guy is obviously able to get there, but he's going to probably have to roll some dice to do so. And even if he does get there, I think it's controlled enough to where, yeah, this guy could pick up the ball and run with it, but you're going to have a response to it. This guy's going to be available to get anywhere this guy can go. So I don't think moving the guy first was the move. We see in chat, we've got Just the Velociraptor, hand off to the catcher, blitz the Storm Vermin, and then screen. Certainly an option. I don't like blitzing the player that I've already got based. I've got a 2-die block here. I think my first action would be to blitz the Gutter Runner with this guy with tackle. And so then I get to see where he's going to sidestep to. He probably won't sidestep to either of these squares because I've already got an extra block there. He might, but he probably won't. If I don't get if I do get the knockdown, if I don't get the knockdown, he sidesteps here, and then I get extra blocks. If I do get the knockdown here, though, that opens up the entire side of this pitch for me to run up additional players to. And because I've done my blitz action here, I can put my tackle and diving tackle probably right here and keep it on both, basically for the assist, and keep it on this Gutter Runner and start my screen here. Then I get a follow-up block here, and then I get a complete the screen with this guy. Actually, I'd complete it with this guy. This guy would go further down as an assist, and then I swing the ball somewhere back over here, basically keeping it all this way. I am not advanced enough with my John Madden to do this in the game, so I'll just tell you how it plays out in reality. But that would be my go-to move there. Additionally, I guess you could just go ahead and score. I mean, all you have to do is blitz this guy with a 2-die block, push him to one side, run through, and give the rats 2 turns to score. But I just don't think that's the play. So what happens is Soul moves the ball to here. His first move. Actually, he moves it to here and then hands off to the catcher. So he sets up an assist, hands off to the catcher, knocks this guy down. He does blitz and knock down this guy. And then basically how it goes from there is this Gutter Runner has a red die block on this catcher. He gets the knockdown, picks up the ball, runs away, and it's a draw. And this tackle blitzer was too far up the pitch in order to stop the score. So Soul was agonizing about it this morning, and I thought it was an interesting play. I think there's no right way to play it, only a bunch of different wrong ways to play it. And because you don't know what the dice are going to hold, giving your opponent a red die on a non-blodge player, it was a way to play it, but it wasn't the way I would have played it. Attempt to knock out the Mighty Blow tackle and hand off to the catcher. Yeah. I mean, this guy did. Both these players got knocked down. So I think the dice were there for that. But it's really hard to keep it safe when you've literally only got 5 players. And how do you keep the ball safe from, DT, fend, sidestep, Juggernaut, Mighty Blow tackle, and an Adu 5 leaper with sure hands. And an extra line rat over here. Yeah, it's really hard to prevent the red die in this situation. But knowing that you got the See, my thing is I wouldn't have moved the ball at all. I would have wanted to see where the blitz goes. Once you see that there's a knockdown here, you put him maybe right here. You've got your assist, and then you can make a cage. You can make a full cage there, and that would be fine. You keep him here, you just stay after the block, and then you'd swing him here, and then you'd finally move your ball carrier here and hand off. So then you could have a complete square cage. That line rat is not Agi 4. The guy that's stunned is the Agi 4 one. That line rat has no skills. That's why it's not popping up there. But the Agi 5, Leap, Block, Nerves of Steel, Elf Catcher. Pretty solid. Yep. Yep. But anyway, this one did end up as a 1-1 draw. So let's get back into the match, or into the actual client. So I was a bit beat up about that one, but Idiot Man Things are a very, very tough team with all the right tools. And then we had Straight Up Flatulence get a 2-1 win over the Oil Miners. Oh, I said that wrong. Animal Farm is Sace's kill. That's right. Sace beat Booskers, not Stubings. I don't know why in my mind Animal Farm was... Stubings got the 2-1 win over the other Dwarf team. So in both the Chaos versus Dwarf matches in REL 1, Chaos won. Now this one was a lot closer. 9 removals to 8 removals. So the Dwarfs got more blocks and more removals than the Chaos team, but they still weren't able to pull off the win. I'm going to chalk this one up to Pig Sofa really still missing his Strength 5 ball carrier. Very, very much a different team without that. Good development, though, for Chaos. So, are you still there, Rumble? I'll take that as a no. Let's take a look at... I guess we're going to have to look at the Camry team, as Rumble alluded earlier. In first place, we've got this Camry team. They are a little bit more banged on than they were. We've got a armor-busted Tomb Guardian. We've got a movement-busted Tomb Guardian. And we've got the Niggle, of course, still on the Blitzraw that's been there all along. We have a new development, though. Throw-Raw with Blodge and Hail Mary now has Guard. That's ridiculously good. And then we've got a movement up on the other Throw-Raw. Team is looking more and more disgusting every time I see them. The only thing that makes them a little bit humble is that they do have a rookie Tomb Guardian. But he's already got 1 touchdown. Yes, that is a Tomb Guardian touchdown. While maintaining position as the #1 team in REL 1. Ugh. Team. Just this one player, man. Even, like, it's move busted, but you'd still take this. Strength 6. Block. Mighty Blow. Tackle. That's double 6. Double. Double. Really, once he gets break tackle, next level, thing is a threat everywhere that he can reach. Ah, that's disgusting. Then there's another Tomb Guardian with block and tackle and break tackle. Ugh. Too many doubles, too many strength ups. Both these guys. Niggled one is closing in on Legend. I don't know. There's really not much to say about this team. He doesn't need the guard because he's got strength ups. But he also has guard. But he doesn't need it. But he also has it. He's trying to cut TV so desperately that he's down to 1 team reroll. And then he has the leader. He's playing a team with... Welcome back. Hey. Gengar is playing with 1 team reroll. He's only got 6 block players on his team, and he's playing with 1 team reroll.
I mean, you don't need team rerolls when all your blocks are 3 dice.
I guess. Maybe that's it. I guess. I don't know. That's crazy to me. I'm done looking at him. You can find Rubblebee's comments on that team on Water. So let's go ahead and look at the matches coming up for next week. Rats Off to You versus the Grody Greens. Golgothan taking on the Nergal. I think the Nergal can do one thing that Golgothan can't really quite compute and counter, which is Disturbing Presence, counter out the one-turner. So we're going to have to see if Golgothan can find a new way to revolutionize his style. Animal Farm versus the Pastry Pests. This one is a match that happens every season where Sace tries desperately to look like a competent Blood Bowl player and Lumi puts forth zero effort in showing him that he is not. You want to make any predictions on that one there, Rumble?
I think this is the year Sace finally beats Lumi.
I mean, I guess if you roll a die 6 times, you're eventually going to get a POW, right?
Eventually.
Necronomics versus Tribu Urbana. Horny Cricket, I think, is in a great position to dismantle Hipster's elves. But, you know, Hipster does have experience playing Necro. They just don't always turn out the way he wants them to. So, yeah. My money's on Horny Cricket. Booze Cruise versus Pro in a Party. They like Soul's chances against a very experienced Dwarf coach, which, by the way, these two teams played last season. I will. Well,
I bet Motley won.
1370 TV for this week. Really just not having the best time in Rel 1 at keeping player where he wants it.
Well, there's just so much claw.
No, actually, they didn't play last season. Soul came up from Rel 3. I was wrong. But, yeah, I don't know. You can back Motley on that one. I'll back Soul. And though Soul whines. He'll whine his way to the win. And since he thinks he's out of playoffs, just like he did last season, that's exactly when he finds his way back in. Gloom and Zoom versus the Oil Miners. The Oil Miners are still licking their wounds against some claw, and they get some more claw. This is the kind of trap game that Gloom and Zoom could lose, except that it's the regular season, so he won't. Maybe a draw.
I don't know. Isn't the Oil Miners missing their... They're missing their Zamboni, aren't they?
All right, I'll look at that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Death Roller took a MNG.
As is the Blitzer with movement up. So yeah, this is a very trim Dwarf team along with Motley's Dwarf team. Both the Dwarf teams just not putting it up. He's going to be getting about 500k in inducements. So as Dwarves, I would assume that, I mean, he could induce a Zamboni.
I mean, he could.
It's not that different than his regular Zamboni. It just doesn't have pile-on. But he could induce a Zamboni with pile-on. He's got the money. That's a thing. New Year Norse versus Straight Up Flatulence. I would absolutely love to see Ornan Stubings. Stubings is trying just hard enough to cling desperately to not get relegated. And New Year Norse is already like, we're getting relegated. And so I would love to see Ornan just go balls out and style on Stubings. With, you know, some bomb plays, some scatters out of bounds. Just all the Ornan stuff going on right now. It is. I can see Stubing's streams up. Well, maybe I'll pop into that afterwards or host them. But yeah, I definitely think that this is a interesting matchup, and I hope it is a fun one to watch. Finally, we have Iron Madden versus Eat Man Things. This is one where I really do think Gengar's in trouble. I say that every week. But this time I believe it. I think Eating Man-Things is disgusting. Even though they just lost their best piece, or what I would consider to be their best piece, I still think they can do it here. Just has to, throw some red dice, which he just threw a bunch of red dice against Soul, so I don't see why he wouldn't throw some red dice against Gengar. But yeah, I'm backing MPA on this one. I'm gonna back the gentle giant. That's, Gengar.
Yes. Oh, that hurt.
Don't
yes.
Sweat too hard there. Backing the #1 team. All of REL 1.
It's 5-0-1.
Top of the pile. Lumen Zooms, Pastry Pest, and Sace. Ironically. At 4-1-1. Horny Cricket. 5th.
Don't worry, Sace will miss it by 1 point.
I just am curious who's going to steal it from him. Is it NPA? Is it Soul? Is it Lazarus Diggs? I know it's not Stubings. We shall see. I know. Sace is in 4th. Hold the press.
Sace is always in like 4th or 5th until like the last game of the season when Lumi sneaks in and steals his spot.
It could be Ornan. Ornan could steal it at the last second. He's at 1-0-5. Just needs to get some wins going. Just yoink right in the last week. Could be good. Could be good. I think that's it. I think that's it for us. Any final parting words, Rumblebee?
No. This is going to be a fun season.
I might even win one.
No, you won't. You know who has won one game?
Everyone else but me?
Me.
And Pixofa.
In fact, I've won 4 games.
Pixofa and Hipster have won a game. We're an elite squad. I know, even Cheese has won a game. Let's go through the books here. Nope. That's just me again. REL 2 is just me not winning any games. And REL 3 is... this one can't be me, because I'm not in here. Sherdog. So me, Pig Sofa, Hipster, and Sherdog are the elite company.
I think there's a halfling team in my division that hasn't won a game. Oh, no, that's not true. They beat an ogre team this week. So, even they have a win.
I don't want to talk about halfling. They pitch cleared me, remember? Alright.
I didn't remember,
oh, man,
but now I do.
Still on YouTube too. That's probably vintage salt. Just saying. If you want that pure, fresh, super fed salt, before I really got jaded on my Kislev and like started to learn that I was in for a thing, like I still thought I was gonna win games when I was playing those halflings. So that's some of the untapped, nice, fresh salt. Yes, I know the ogres and Div 9 have won a game. Everyone's won a game, but me, Pig Sofa, Hipster, Dog. We are the crowd. All right, thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch you next week. Same bat-ish time, and definitely same channel.
Are you gonna host the Stubings game? Or no, it's Stubings.
I remember
and
how
Ornan,
hosting
right?
works. I think it's oh no, it's not exclamation mark. That's how I always get it wrong. All right. Thanks everybody. Have a good one.